Alright, we are live. So, we are back in Satisfactory. So we have been working on our rocket fuel plant. So, last time we got a lot of the way set up. So we have 4 rows of rocket fuel blenders. We've built 2 of them, and we have hooked up rocket fuel packaging for jetpack use and for what is this? Drone vehicle powered stuff. So that's handy to have. So this time we just got to put in the last 2 rows of this and then start working on the gigantic tower of powered fuel generators. Alright, so let's see if I can remember how we do this. Or I guess I don't really need to remember, I can just look, because it's going to be the same. So we grab the blender, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, now we need to make this a floor. So that all goes across. And then it's going to have to make it all the way over to here. And then go back a couple layers. And then across again. Let's go over one more, just to be sure. And then fill up this last bit. There we go. And there we go. Alright, so the floor has been established. Now we just have to put all the holes in it. And I think I'm going to swap to hover pack mode. It's just more stable. Alright, so these go up there. And in there. I'm pretty sure we need these to all be Mark IIs. So there we go. Just place all of these holes in. And then we can put the lifts in afterwards. There we go. Alright, then we just keep going. I don't know why, something feels weird about this today. I guess it's probably just the lighting is a bit funky under here because of the aurora. Alright, so we put all of the lifts in. I wonder if I can turn on the flashlight, that'll help. There we go. So we drag all of these down. Like that. Then we need to go over to fluid mode. And we need floor holes and ceiling holes for these. So these all go in like that. And then they get piped in. There we go, just a couple more. Done. And then we get the ceiling holes for these, which we are going to just line up with the belts. So they just go in there. And those are all in. Now, drag them down, and bring the pipes up. Then we have to connect the floor holes here into the fuel production. So we drop down here. And so these go up there. Like that. Just each of them goes up. Alright, and now we have to, I believe, connect all the fuel lines, together so that head lift goes across. Like so. Right, then we're gonna have to power those on as well. Alright, so we head back over here. Grab the power line and place it in. Okay, now we power these machines on and they should fill up with fuel, but probably not the other things. If they do, then that's a concern because I haven't attached them in yet. Alright, one more. There we go. And they are indeed getting plenty of fuel nice and quick. Alright, now we have these to worry about. So we get coal here. And these, I believe, are allowed to be Mark 1s because it's 50. So the coal goes there. Then the sulfur goes there. And the nitrogen will come in through the pipe. Alright, so we have to grab the other coal belt for this. So this has 600 coal in it, and it has to send 300 of that into this section that we're doing. Although actually I need to finish the splitter here first. It's going to be hard to send the coal in when there's nothing to put it into. So we just expand out the foundation. And we put in our splitters. One there. And one there. Then we send these belts across to connect everything up. And that is that. Then we get that splitter, which goes Mark 3 into there and into there. And then this will be taking in the coal belt. So, grab that. Just bring it over this way. And somewhere around here, we're going to want to split it. So, I don't know, like there maybe. It seems like a reasonable spot. And then half will go there, and the other half will go the other way. And that should be coal in. So next we do the sulfur. So we get these splitters in. And these have to be Mark 2s here because it's 100. So those go into there. And all like that. Then we set this splitter in, which that's going to be 300, so this these have to be Mark 4 belts. There and there. And then sulfur goes in here. This is pointing the wrong way, but it doesn't really matter. We can just put it in like that and it's fine. Alright, so let's head back and grab another belt of sulfur. Oh. Okay, we don't have power in this area, I guess. We should really just bring power over here. It would make all of this a lot easier. Alright, so get the belt. And it is going to come over this way. And then go in there. Can I blow up that small rock formation? There we go. Then we need to... my mouse wheel is insane. Alright, so that goes up. And that goes in. And now we just have to bring this over. So this goes up there and onto this foundation. Then we just bring it around, preferably nice and close with the other one that's already there. So it goes there, and then comes over this way, like that. Okay, now it's going to want to do the straight thing, so we're just going to ignore that and pop in floor hole like there. Put that in, connect you in, and then this should just go across. Oh, I forgot that I did that. Alright, well, that's fine. Sulfur is now in. And finally we have the nitrogen. So we just have a pipeline here, which is going to go across. And it needs to stop midway. So it'll go there. And then the rest of the way. Like that. Okay, now we need to swap back to hover pack mode. And pop some junctions in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Then we send the junctions down one by one. And okay, this last one does not cooperate. So we're going to go down here and rebuild this like that. And in. Alright, so that is everything, and now we just need to grab another one of these. Also, I should just get a power pole over this way so that this stops being an issue. There we go. That should resolve it. If I remember correctly, like one of these pipes, one of the ones that's already going up even, is a tiny little one. Alright, so the easiest way to make sure that there are no problems is we are simply going to connect the pipes across so that they are balanced. And I think we just take this pipe and connect it in there as well. So that should be fine then. So we have this pipe which goes in, then we have these 3 pipes which go in, and they're all connected across, so they should all be fine, and we can just grab one of them and send it across. So, logistics, stackable pipeline support. We're going to need those to stack up a little bit. So now this comes along to there, and then branches down to there. And that should be that starting up. And let's just, I assume the fluids here are going to take a while to catch up fully, but they should get there. Especially since this isn't outputting into anything. So the next thing we need to do is set up that output pipe, which is there, I think, approximately. So these all connect up to here. And then the pipes go up. We're in noodle mode now, as we've previously been in auto mode when doing this, but that's probably fine. Alright, so those all go up to the ceiling, and then we need to get the coal, the compacted coal in. So this, not splitters, mergers. These all just merge across. And I believe this calls for Mark III belts. And then we're going to send them all into the same sink. Alright, that one didn't line up properly. That's fine, I guess. Alright, so that is all gathered up onto a belt. Now we just take this belt and we send it over here. Like that. And then we go there. Alright, coal is now being output. So now we have all of this. Are they all filled up with nitrogen? Because that is the one thing which is going to take a while. Yeah, so that's all. So this row is all set up, and we just need to attach them into an output pipe. Please stop wobbling around. Just get placed. There we go. So this goes to there, and then across to there. Now we put all of these in. Just some junctions so that the holes can all connect up. And then we do this. Okay, but I remember now also that this is supposed to be 2 separate batches. So that goes at... Why is this like that? Those 2 are definitely supposed to be connected. Alright, so that is that. So this is a batch of, what, 300 and 600 or something? Alright, so that is the second to last batch done. And yeah, it's 300 plus 600. Alright. 1 more to go. And this is the partial. So, we grab you, and you have to go... What? So it's back to there, I think, is the correct spacing, because it's 1 full foundation and then 2 half foundations on either side, but you're supposed to be turned around. Okay, so that goes in. Then we space it properly, and click. Alright. All set to go. We just need this to go out a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, with the last one being at half speed, right? Yeah, 50%. 50%. Alright, so this one, the splitting isn't going to work out perfectly because this one is slower and there isn't a 6th one. So I guess we just go 1 to 4 and then some extra. Alright, we're gonna have to figure out the splitting. Although I think the answer might just be to not worry about it and just send the full amount in. Because I think we're gonna have more than we need. Except for the sulfur, which will be exact. No, the sulfur will be exact anyway, so we do actually need to do the splitting for this, I think. Alright, so we get this, and we get that. So now we have to put all of the holes in, so that goes up to there, and so the holes are aligned like that. And we just pop them all in. And this should be nice and quick. There we go. And now the lifts. So the lifts go down. All these get connected up. And there we go. Next up, we have the fluids. So these all get the floor holes there. And then these all get the ceiling holes. Alright, so this portion of construction is going to be quicker for this row, but the getting it perfectly load balanced and everything is going to be a bit slower, I think. Alright, so we just connect all these across, and then hope that the pipeline. Hope that the floor holes don't bug out and cause problems. Which they definitely enjoy doing. Alright, so these all connect down, no issue there. Like that. And now we just need to connect the fuel pipes across like that for head lift reasons. Alright, now let's actually just check if this worked. That worked, it looks like they all worked properly, so that's nice. Alright, so coal goes in here. So if we have a batch of 300 coal, then we don't need to properly split it. If we have less than that, then we will need to be careful. Now the easier solution might just be to bring in like an extra 50 sulfur and make all the math work out or something, but it's a bit late for that at this point. Alright, so we have a 1, 2, 5 situation, which I think... Let's see, can we actually just do this in a convenient manner? So that goes there. This... Oh wait, no, it's not supposed to go there. It's supposed to go here. And it goes there, and there, and then the last output is going to wrap around back to the input, I guess. It doesn't really matter. Honestly, the easier solution might just be to have 6 equally paced machines and then just distribute the input across 6 instead of 5. Yeah, that's probably going to be a lot simpler. Let's just do that instead. So you exist now. And this is, let's see, the intended output is 150 times 4, so 600. 675 divided by 6. 675 divided by 6. Alright, so that all goes in. And because all the fuel lines are connected up together, we don't have to mess with the lower side. This will all just work out. So then we are going to need to put in the holes for this, which are there and there. And then this one gets a floor hole there, which we're going to have to just connect up anywhere into that system. And a ceiling hole there, which goes up like that. Alright, so we can just stick that in there. And of course, this pipe didn't cooperate. So if we do that, and nope, still no good. If we try doing that, there we go. So that is that. So now we have 5 of those fuels going up into 6 of these rocket fuels. And we can carry on up here as normal. Alright, then that just connects across to there. Now this goes to there and back to there. And then we can do the sulfur. So go over here. And we get a splitter there and a splitter here. So these are 100 each, so these have to be Mark IIs. So all these belts go in. And now we have that. We just have to add in one more thing here. And then those need to be Mark IVs, like that. And finally, the pipelines. So this needs to come across the top and stop midway and then go the rest of the way across. Like that. And now we just have to drop the nitrogen in. So all these go in like that. Then we bring these pipes down. And it should all be working. Seems like we got offline at some point, but that's fine. They still connected in, so that's all that matters. Alright, now we just have to bring these connections across. So that goes into there. And that's the nitrogen. Then we have to grab our last remaining belt of sulfur, which is this one. Figure out how to get it up to like back here, I guess. So let's just put a floor hole in and then see how we can get to it. Alright, yeah, that should be fine. Just need to get the floor down there so that we know where this is going to. There we go. And then this just needs to connect across. And then up we go. So that output's facing that way. So that we can take this belt and loop it around here. And then around this way. Let's get a foundation in for it first. Alright, so then that goes there, it sneaks on under all that stuff. And then, don't drop there. Pop the floor hole in. And send that across like that. And now we get the belts. Which goes there. Alright, so we have that. Actually, wait. No, we don't. We gotta take that out. the coal belt needs to come underneath it over to there, which means that this actually needs to go a little bit towards that way so that they can be on their different levels. So now that goes in there. And then comes across to there. And then up to 5. And across. Oh, I've just realized that we didn't power these on, so we should do that. Powering them on in advance will let the nitrogen gas accumulate better. Which I don't think will be an issue, but it's always nice to have preloading for the things that you aren't load balancing. And we could obviously just set valves on these pipes as well. I think we did that for the previous ones actually, didn't we? We did that for the first row. I don't think it's going to be necessary because we have so much excess nitrogen that it won't be a problem. Like, yeah, this is already filled up. Alright, so now we just have to snap the coal in that last little bit. And done. So now we just need to bring the output pipe and the output belt as well. So we go over here, and you go in there and just go across to all of these. Now the output pipe for this is going to be more complicated than the others because it's not going to divide cleanly into a 600 and a slightly less than 600. So we are going to have to connect all of these down and then do a little bit of finagling. I think just a couple valves should be able to do it pretty easily. So those all go in, then we get the mergers. So this will deal with the compacted coal. And then they go over that way. And all merge up. Like so. And then they go into there. Alright, so that is that. Now we go up here and we deal with this pipe. Alright, so this pipe goes along this way. And just the rest of the way, like that. So unlike the previous ones, these ones we are going to want them all connected up so that we can distribute this properly. So we're going to have a 600 and a slightly less than 600. Actually a lot less than 600, I think. I think it's like 675 or something. That might be the fuel. It might be 750 here. Alright, so those are all connected up. Then we have let's see, how do we balance this properly? I guess we can just loop both sides over and then put the valves on just like there and there. Yeah, that should be fine. Alright, so that is all set up. And seems to be functional. We are just waiting on having any output for them. So, the next step is going to be getting all of these pipes together. So, because we have 600 and 300. So I want to just sort of take some space over here to manage all of the pipes and just get them all together nice and compact so that we can send them up in a coordinated manner through the giant power generator tower of power, I guess. I don't know where I was going with that sentence, but sure. Alright, so first off, I think we want this pipe to come around this way and then go over here. Then we want these two pipes to come around this way and merge together, and we don't need to put a second pipeline junction up there, and then come out there. So that is two pipes of 600 done. Then we take this one out, comes around this way, and I think, yeah, we want these to be pretty much just compact and together, so this can go there, and then there, and this can likewise come to there, and then a little bit forwards. So that's 3 pipes of 600. This is another pipe of 600. So it just has to sneak around there. And then come over this way before turning in. And then we need to send all of these forwards a bit, just so that they can all be straight, like that. Alright, they're not perfectly correctly spaced, but that's fine. Alright, then we have this one. So with this one, we are going to go back to like here, I guess. Just a good spot in the middle of the pipe. And bring it over. Alright, now we have to figure out how much is actually supposed to be in this. So it's 112.5 times 6 is 675 output. Alright, sure. So, if we take valves and we stick them on there, that one is 600, and this one is 75. Alright, so then this can go over there, and we're going to need to cross some pipes over each other at some point, because those two need to connect up, but I don't want them to be just like inconspicuously in the middle of the line of pipes, because that might make it seem like they're just ordinary when they're the small ones. Alright, so then that goes along like that. Then these two can combine up like that. And then they go up, and then over this way, and that is going to be, label this as rocket fuel 375, and the rest are all 600. Alright, so we have that. Now we can just send these up into the next floor, I suppose. Make sure we got everything. Looks like we did. Alright. So we have all these pipes. Now what we need to do is go up another floor, which doesn't need to be very tall. This is just a logistics floor, so we'll just go up 3, since it is a relatively large logistics floor. And then we're going to set this up. Alright, so now we just need to get these 6 pipes up onto this floor. And the way we're going to do that is just a line of floor holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that will be the last one. We'll set it off a little bit, just so that we know that that's the special one at a glance. And then these pipes all go up into those floor holes. And now each floor of this power generator is going to use 1 full pipe. And we'll be able to see how well they're working from there. So the next thing we need to do is get a blueprint for our power generators, and also get a whole lot of space, but that's obvious. So we've got some space. Let's put down a Blueprint Designer Mark II. Now, how many fuel power generators can we fit into this? Okay, this might work. So that is as close as they can go. And then we fit these in like that. Alright. So the pipes go like that. And then the junctions go in like that. And then out a little bit on either side. So hopefully that will allow for automatic connections. Then we just need a power pole. You'll go with Mark III, I guess, to connect the 4 of these up. And then hopefully this just works. And hopefully the auto connections connect across. So this is fuel generators. Save that blueprint. Clear the designer. Grab the stuff out of the designer. Dismantle the designer. And now we just place one in. Alright, so we want this to be lined up to the grid and relatively compact. Although we don't want it to get that close to the input pipes. Alright, so that is in. Then, if we get another one, blueprint auto connect mode, and we just pop it in there. Is that connected up? It is. Alright. So now, what we need to do is take one of these pipelines and send it across that way, and then in there. So now these all have access to rocket fuel, and we're going to connect them up and then attach them down to some power line somewhere, wherever we can find one. Where are all the... Oh, all the power lines on that floor over somewhere else. Alright, let's connect this. Just... That one's fully used. That one technically has some space. Sure. So let's make that connection. And we see a respectable tick up in power production just from these 8. Alright, now this is 4.17 per minute. Actually, hang on. There's a way of like figuring out the more correct version, right? It's 3,600 divided by 250 or something. 100 divided by 250 is, so each one lasts for 14.4 seconds, I believe is what that means. So 14.4, so it's 1 per 14.4 seconds. Then how do we get how many there are per minute? 1 over 14.4 times 60. Alright, so it is 4.16667. So, 600 divided by 4.1666 is 144. So we need 144 of these to use up our one pipe. That is quite a lot, which I guess I knew because 144 times 5 is 720, which is less, yeah, so that's less than the 810 that I'm expecting to use, because we also have the additional 375. Alright, so that all checks out, and we're just going to have to build up this giant floor. So let's extend this out. And the problem of the pipes staying filled, or the problem with the manifolding is going to be quite the issue. Although, let's see here. We could technically solve that with the blueprint if we were clever about it, which we should probably do, because otherwise it might cause serious problems. So what I can do is, instead of having these input along the side, I can squeeze a logistics floor below into the blueprint, and then that will give me space to have valves. So let's just pop down a blueprint designer so I can just do this. Alright, so we have that. Then, above it, we have our foundation. Like so. Then we get fuel power generators like this, all facing inwards. Alright, it's gotta get them to line up. And they barely fit in here. It's like exact. There we go, and then one more. Which I guess I need to rotate around. Like that. Alright, so now these all fit. And those go across. And the junctions go in. But instead of connecting them outwards to the next one in the line, we're going to connect them down. And I think this is too cramped to use a floor hole, but it's fine. We can just pretend that there's a floor hole. So if we drop down here and bring this through, like that, then we can have our pipe go along here and leave some space on either side for the auto connection to work. Then we put that junction in, connect that up, and put a valve in. Now we need to figure out, oh, it's 4.16 times 4 is 16.666 repeating. So let's hope that valve settings stay in these. Alright, so we set that. And now we can save this. Where's this? Over here. Fuel generators, valve. Alright, so then we take that. And now we see if this works. So we go over here to blueprints, fuel generators, valve. I didn't use Mark 1 pipes for that, did I? If I did, I'm going to be bummed out. It's probably just a graphical thing. Alright. So that goes in. Oh god, it auto-connected to something random. No, go away, go away, go away. Alright, that is terrible. So we need to get all the nitrogen out of here. Alright, maybe that's worked. Alright, yes. Alright, so how is that working now? Are these filling up? Very, very slowly. But they aren't running or anything, which is... Oh, obviously. So I messed this up. But if we connect those together, then they're just gonna run and be fine, hopefully. Alright. So they were down to like 0.8 or something. And then they just keep going. Right, I think this is too slow, actually. Or it might just be equalizing out. It's hard to tell. So at that point, it just barely got to 7. So if there is a problem, we'll be able to tell now. 5, 6, 7. No, I think it is fine. So we do need to dismantle that and that power pole because we need to fix the blueprint. Alright, so we pop that in because we don't want to waste time placing all those power poles when we don't need to. So there we go. Connect that across. And save. And clear. Alright. Now we put this in. And yeah, it really wants to connect into things that it really shouldn't. So what if I just set you to default so that you don't connect into anything immediately? And then we just send you, so you're all lined up there, and we pop you in. Now we go blueprint auto connect. There. It still wants to connect. It still wants to make trouble and connect down to things that it shouldn't. I really wish there was a way of being more specific on what exactly you wanted it to auto-connect with. But I guess it's fine. So we connect those across, and then we connect them into that. So these are going to take a little bit to fill up. And then they should get started. Although it looks like this might not even be helping that much. Because when I added that new one, the old ones turned off too, somehow. Yeah. So let's see. I mean, that's definitely connected across. The top side connect across. The top side didn't. Good. That's also what we want. But then we don't want these machines stuttering constantly. So they seem to be running fine now. And I really wish there was a button for don't auto-connect through the floor, you absolute fool. but we might just have to cope with that until we're another floor up, or just no longer directly over the rest of this. Alright, so then we grab this. And alright, it still wants to do that, so I think we just have to set it to non-auto connect mode, place it in, and this is still not terrible, and it should be fixed eventually. So then we just send that across, and hook them up to the power. And obviously they take a while to warm up. Gotta fill up some pipes and all that. But it does look like these were not overly affected by that, which is nice. So then those will start up. I think they'll have a bit of a hiccup immediately upon starting, just because of how that works. Yeah, so they drop off a little bit, and then should be good to go from here. And boy, do I wish I had infinite power shards so that I could overclock all of these and get them going even faster. But that is sadly not an option at the moment, and it won't be for quite some time. Alright, can I just put that onto my hotbar so that I can grab it easier, because I'm going to need to be placing this a lot. So we were just going to place a couple more of those. And then drop down and connect them across. Like so. And now we do the power lines. There we go. So those should be going along. Now, how many of these do we have already? We have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. So we're making good progress, sort of. I mean, our power... There's no longer uncomfortable closeness between our consumption and production. So that's something. Okay. Are these two stable now? Looks like it. Alright, so that... How many of these do we want to have per row? So let's see. 144 divided by 4 is 36. So we have to place the blueprint 36 times per floor. So we could go with just 6 rows of 6 blueprints, make it a nice square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this row. So if we go one more, and then we just drop down here and connect up the pipe, and then connect up the power lines. Alright, so that is a row. And now, frankly, it's a miracle that we haven't run out. I'm going to take those out and set them to the new type. So fuel generators, valve. And we're not going to leave any space between them, I think. We're just going to have them all flush like that. And then, is that oriented correctly? It is. So those go in. And pretty soon we're going to find out what the limiting factors on this is going to be. That's 3, 4, 5. And the answer is rubber, apparently. So that's a bit unexpected, but we have copper sheets, we have motors, we're waiting on rubber. Alright, so that is a full row in, and then we just have to connect them all up. So there we go. And boom. Alright, so now we just have to dismantle that junction, line the junction up, and pop it in. Now we connect the power lines across. And like that. And then we make sure that they're all connected up. Now this whole thing isn't connected up, so I guess, we must have, when we dismantled those non-valved ones, we must have messed with something. Alright, that's fine. So we can just connect those back in. And we're going again. So we should have plenty of rocket fuel coming across. And now they are all starting to spike up. Alright. So if rubber is the shortage, we want to grab some of that. And motors and copper sheets as well. So we have some of those in our inventory so that the dimensional storage can be filling them up preemptively. And we are going to set to take from depot before inventory. Alright. Now these ones aren't working 100% reliably, which you would expect that these ones would have had plenty of time to stabilize, and it's not like there's a shortage of rocket fuel in these pipes. That's a bit worrying, but whatever. Nine. So this should be plenty fine. I don't see how that is breaking at all. It's very frustrating because they're like 95%, which means they only very occasionally stop working, which makes it quite hard to tell why. If it's something to worry about or not. Alright, that one is just stopped. And it's starting again. 4.1666 times 4 is 16.7. So the valves going in here are 16.7. So if anything, they should be rounding up. But the flow rate here is listed as 14. Oh, I think I might know, actually. What if we... So I think the problem might be that these are not filled up properly. So I think if we just have that in, then it'll want to fill the pipe up to this level as opposed to the lower level, which will mean it puts in additional rocket fuel. Maybe. I think that's how that works. 8, 9, 1. It's hard to say. So the amount flowing past this is 14.2. Why is it only 14.2 instead of 16.7? I'd really rather it be 16.7. So let's actually see if that's the entire source of the problem. 16.7 minus 14.2 is 2.5. 2.5 divided by 4 is 0.625. 0.625 divided by 4.16 is like 15%. Alright, so that's mysterious, because these are not running that slowly. Let's see, if I actually just turn one of these guys off temporarily and give it a little bit, then this will fill up to there. And if we start it up again, will it work? Well, it's going to be hard to tell because that's going to take a while. But theoretically, that might have caused something to be fixed. Fuel generators. How frustrating you can be at times. And this is definitely emptying, right? Because it got down to 0.4 that time. That time it was like just barely made it to 0.4. So we'll see if this time it goes down to 1.3. 3. Oh, it's so hard to tell. I don't know. Maybe it'll fix itself. Maybe the problems will all miraculously go away and we won't have to worry about them. I somehow doubt it. It's definitely slowly running out. So, why? Why can't it just be normal? So this clearly did not work. So realistically it shouldn't matter because it's a gas, right? So we should just be able to take that out and not worry about it. So this is showing a flow rate of 14.2, as are all of them. That's just across the board. And yeah, so what's happening here is that the valves are being dumb. I don't know why the valves would be dumb like this in such a consistent way. Might have to Google it. But all these valves are set to 16.7 and showing 14.2. So that is quite baffling. Alright, how much is going through these pipes? Weird numbers. Alright. Maybe... I mean, it's clearly not an input issue, right? Because these pipes are all full. So it's not like there's not enough coming in. I guess I'll check the input machine just to be sure. So this is these 4 machines back here. And yeah, they are all obviously just completely backed up. Too much rocket fuel, nowhere to put it. Here's the problem that all of those guys are having. Alright, maybe this will work. So if this gets a valve with a limit of 100, then what will happen? The flow rate is doing some stuff. Alright, then what if we give this one a valve with a limit of 100? The flow rate is in the 90s, which is a good sign. Okay, but then it's dropping. So the flow rates on these should be exactly 90. Or they should be exactly 100 because it's 16.666 times 6 is 100. But instead they're fluctuating around in the 80s. And this one is not even there, it's down in the 60s. Why? Why is it like this? It's so close to being perfect, and yet it's so definitively not perfect. You can still see every so often some of them are down. Alright. So that is going along. Maybe by some miracle that will have fixed these, though. No, still flow rate of 14.2 very reliably. Well, here's an idea. What if we open the gate, let it fill up a lot, and it should be just about good. Now we set it back down. Will this have it stabilize at 16.7? No, it pretty much instantly drops right down to its nice, comfortable 14.2. Alright, well what if I set this to like 20? Then it's still 14.2. 30? 30 goes up to like 20, the mid-20s. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep building it like this and assume that there is a good solution, and then Google it afterwards to figure out what the problem is and fix it then. Alright, so this pipe needs to continue on this way. So let's just get that all lined up. So that we have 2 rows, and we just need another couple billion. So let's go fuel generator valve. Place that in. It's lined up correctly. Very good. And that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And it looks like we were just barely able to get all of those in without running out of materials. So now we connect the pipes across. And there we go. There we go. And now we just connect this in to the main line. So let's just get that in and send that across. And put it in. And how are these valves looking now? Still looking pretty much wrong. Alright, I don't think we're going to bother with those top valves. Actually, no, we will, because I think in the hypothetical world where we get everything working, these are going to be important to keeping things under control. So that can go in there. And then these should be filling up. Alright, so we have 3 rows, then we need to grab... what? How? Oh, right, because these aren't... Oh, I almost had a panic attack. So these aren't connected up to the main thing. So as soon as that happened, they started up and then crashed again. It said a power grid had failed. So let's just connect all those guys across so that they are in the main power grid. And now their little weirdness at least won't cause heart-stopping alarms. Alright, these ones are somehow even worse. They're showing 9.4. Why are they showing 9.4? Okay, maybe it is a flow rate issue. So if we just let you fill as much as possible, are these going to climb up to 14 point whatever? Or are all of these going to drop actually? No, those are still showing the old numbers. So So this is going along. Now these are up to 14.2. And it's just going along. Let all these fill up all the way, I guess. And then clamp the valve back in. Which is probably cause the valves are probably just breaking everything, but that's fine. So I think what's happening actually, let's do an experiment. So this is one of the nice orderly 14.2 ones. So if we crank you all the way up and let you actually just go completely wild. So then this is going to fill up all of these pipes all the way, right? And if we go up to here, the generators themselves are also filling up with rocket fuel. So this entire area is as saturated as can be. Now we drop down here and we set you to 16.7. Are you going to settle down to 16.7? And it looks like you might. No, wait. It's fluctuating, but it's trying. At least it's not stable at 14.2, but it looks like it might be going down there again. It's so hard to tell what's going on with those. But it does look better here at least. But somehow that flow rate is higher than it ought to be. Alright, so I think the solution is to just throw the valves all open and just let the machines cook. It's annoying because it's not a problem now, but it will be an issue near the end when we don't have much spare fuel to just quickly saturate all of these. We're gonna have to put in some extra work to get that to happen. But I guess this is what we gotta do. So let's fix all of these as well, so they can all be opened up. And we should see this solve all of our fuel problems. Although I do kind of want at least the row valves. Like, I'm not sure I want those to be gone completely, because those are going to be helpful in keeping the rows somewhat isolated from each other in terms of what happens. Alright, but now that we've done that, this should all stabilize out and be a nice, solid, steady line across the board. Which is not what we're seeing. We're still seeing issues. Alright, yep. And alright, so we still... Oh, I think I just didn't do that row. Right, it's these rows that I've done, so I need to get this row fixed, so you can go there. And open up all the valves. And while it just popped into my head, let's grab more rubber. And more motors. And more copper sheets. Just so that the next couple lines we place won't have issues. Alright, so all of these valves can open and right up. And one more. There we go. Alright, so these, obviously, as the last ones in the line, are going to be a lot slower to receive the rocket fuel, because now it's manifolding. But it should get the entire thing running nice and evenly now. Yep, that looks about right. There's some slight fluctuation because we have a couple of geysers in. But that's fine. Alright, it's a bit frustrating that the valves aren't working properly. But you can put them in after the fact, right? So these are all going. Are these all going? Let's see. So yeah, that is all set. And it's flowing at exactly 151.2 apparently. Which is a bit of a strange number. All of these are flowing at 151.2. Except for this one, which is flowing at double that for no apparent reason. Ah, I love fluids. Like, where is it even going? Why is it doing that? Alright, so I guess these last couple are still filling. So that's probably fine. But really what we need to do is we need to just get the whole floor in so that we can see how it works with the entire setup. So back to placing more fuel generators. There we go. And they all go in. This is going to go directly above these drone ports, which we're just going to have to move, because this space is more important. Alright, so that is a fourth row. Now we're going to pop in a fifth one. Okay, we're going to start to put in a fifth one and then immediately run out of rubber. So instead, we're going to drop down here and connect these pipes across. So across they go. And they all have the valve number in, so it's not gonna work great. Alright, so that comes out, goes across that way. And no, don't rotate, just be straight. And then you go into that. And you go into that. Alright, now we just have to power all of these on. Connect them all across to the rest of the grid. And there we go. So now these are all connected together. And let's grab some spare rubber. And wait for this to get started. So the good news is that these pipes should be filling up as a priority since the side bits aren't allowed any at the moment. So we're just going to let the pipes get started, because these pipes being filled are going to help a lot. And then we will also just continue on with this. So we should be able to just about, if we wait just a couple seconds for the remaining rubber, we should be able to fill out this row. And is there anything else that's even remotely in danger of running out? I guess quick wire, but it's doing fine. It's recovering faster than the rubber is. Alright, so that row is all in. And the pipe goes across and into that. Now we just connect it across to all of these, and then we are going to have to wire them up. Alright, so those are all connected, and now we do the power poles. So they go across there, and then over this way. Alright. There we go. So now they're all connected up like that. So now we have this. And we have one row left, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, one row left. And also all of these are not accelerating properly, which you'd think would help, because we're going to need to fill up pipes and stuff. Alright. How is the rubber supply going? Still not perfect, but it is going at least a little bit. Alright, so these are up to the point of being 9.4. Which is not the 14.2 level that they could get to if the outside pipes were saturated. Yeah, these are still filling. And that pipe there is just below 600. So let's grab a little bit more rubber, and this should be enough, hopefully, to finish off this final row, and then we'll have a floor done, and then it'll be on to bug fixing the first floor. And once we have the first floor completely functional, okay, rubber is not going fast as I thought it was. Once we have the first floor completely functional, then we can start working on firing up additional floors, but I don't want to do that until we actually have like all the bugs sorted out and figure out how it needs to be. Alright, so we drop down here. And these connect across. Then we go to this. Bring it over. Because it's entirely likely, in fact almost certain, that we're going to need to like significantly redesign the blueprint in order for all this to work. But I just need to know what we need to redesign it to first. So for example, is just having no valves on it or only max capacity valves going to cause any additional problems? Alright, we are one blueprint away from being done with the floor, which is just 150 rubber. So let's connect these across like that, and then connect up the power lines. There we go. So just a little bit more rubber, and we're basically there. Alright, so we have a full floor's worth of generators in. There we go. Just connect those across, and may as well have another sideways connection just in case something weird happens. I don't know what could possibly happen where that would be useful, but it's not going to hurt anything at the very least. Alright, so now we have all this. And what we can do now is see how everything is going in terms of production and inputs. Alright, so this is still stuck down at 9.4. Alright, so all of these are having issues. Obviously these ones should be fine, right? Checking here, that's 50. Oh hey look, our production is peaking over our max consumption. That's fun. The max consumption is hilariously high because of weirdness with train stops. Alright. So somehow this is still taking in a lot more flow than it should. Like, there's no reason for this flow rate to be in the hundreds. Alright, so let's head over to these ones. These are still 9.4, right? Alright, is this one of the ones that I've already opened up? No, it is not. Alright, so let's just open up all the valves and see if it works. And if all the valves opened up causes this to function, then that'll be fine. We can just remove the valves from the blueprint for the next floor. But I'm expecting that we're going to have enormous manifolding and probably flow rate issues. Alright, so that is opened up. And then we can do the same for all of these. So now we're going to have to fill up all of the generators with fuel. So this just goes along. And there we go. And then we have one more floor over here. Nice thing about working with fuel generators is that you're always within realm of power production. So you can just hover pack underneath the floor endlessly with no issues at all. So these all connect up. And that one... Alright. So, is that going to solve our problems? So now I guess what we need to do is we need to go back here and see these 4 machines which are producing the rocket fuel for this. So you are going along at 100%, as are you, but you're filling up. And this one is either saturated filling or it might be fine. It might be fine. Oh, so we also have this side, which seems to have all filled up at this point. So that's not going to cause anything relevant. Alright, so this is showing a flow rate of 600. And it's showing that solidly over an extended period of time. So that's a good sign. This is likewise 600 and doesn't seem to be changing. That is just north of 300, as is that. The extra flow rate must be coming from slight backflow, I guess. The mountain pipe is only half of the max. Alright. And as far as the machines are concerned, it's pretty stable, but not entirely. And there's a lot of stuff back here which isn't getting any. And I assume that's just manifolding. So these guys are 7.2. You're at 0.5. Alright. That's about to be expected. Alright, so these... It's very difficult to tell is the problem. I wonder if putting valves in to limit flow rate will help. So we have this, which is 600. Then, if I put in valves in each of those locations at 300 and 300, will it work? No, it won't. It has limited it down to like 200 and something. Alright, so we definitely don't want that. So we're gonna crank both of those valves up to no limits. And they're showing 300 now. Of course they are. Alright, I really, really wish that fluids could just work sensibly, and like you could just put valves on things and they would fix them. So this is still working on the whole manifold situation. And yeah, there are a lot of things back here which are not getting basically any fuel at all. So how do we solve that problem? So one way to solve the manifolding would be to just accelerate it by turning the first couple of these off. Because these are going to be running at 100% or near to it, although this one is actually not getting all that much fuel. Yeah, hardly any fuel is even getting through to these guys, and they're the front row. Flow rate 37.8 into there. Flow rate 18.9 into there. Flow rate 76 down that entire row, which has 100. Why is it like this? So this has mysteriously been capped at 100 and some. Alright, so it's because... So we have manifolds stacked on top of each other, basically. So we have 300 going that way. Half of that 300 is going there, and the other half is being split between these two. Alright. So then these ones are obviously going to be doing much better then. What if I valve you limit of 100? And the answer is nothing useful. Alright, what if I valve you limit of 200? And I'm going to set this valve to a limit of 300. And this valve to a limit of 300. So my theory here is I just have valves controlling every single intersection, then it should work. Alright, and the answer to that theory is that it doesn't seem to be working at all. Where is the fuel going? So if we put a valve there, just limit 600. So that should give a flow rate of 600. Is it going to get up to 600 or is it going to do a bounce? It might bounce. It does bounce. Is it going to repeatedly bounce? 8, 9. Yes, it is just going to bounce every single time it gets close. So this valve is set to 300 and it's getting 296. Is this also going to bounce once it reaches 300? So what's happening is that there's some weirdness going on with the flow rates. And it's not actually 600, but it's like going back and forth to make it look like there's 600 flow rate. Alright, then this one over here, we'll limit you to 100. And we will limit you to 200. And then limit each of these to 100. And then, with all of these limits in place, the fuel should only flow exactly where I want it to flow, and nowhere else. I guess we should probably just get rid of that. just to remove a spot that the fuel could go and get confused. Alright, so this is, once again, staying below 600. This is staying below 100. Alright. So what is the problem here? I mean, the flow rate there is 600. Flow rate there is 600. Flow rate there is the part that gets messed with by the valve. No, this is also getting messed with by the valve. Alright. I do not understand fluids at all. So we're just going to see how this works. So all of these are giving less fuel than they should be. Every single valve is underperforming. So if we go back here, the flow rate here is still 600. Except for when that bounce happens. So what are these guys doing? You're outputting fine. You aren't outputting at all. Or are you? So that's mysterious. We have... Oh, right, no, those two aren't expected, right? Because we're only using these ones. So 96%, 98%, 97%. So the problem isn't production. The problem is seemingly, as always, that I've expected a single pipe to be able to have the capacity of a single pipe. So, easiest way to fix this, I think, if we just take this and bring it over. I really need to just put the concrete foundations onto the other hotbar so I don't have to keep scrolling between them. But if we just take this up and then we are going to have to make an area to floor hole it. So we go floor hole up just there, I guess. Then that goes up. And it goes in there. Then we just disconnect that whole thing. So now we have this pipe, which has a capacity of 600 and only needs to do 300. Sending into these machines. And let's take that valve out. And then these two apparently never valved them, so that's fine. So this should be plenty, right? Because now we have effective 1200 flow rate. 460 some going in. And that should hopefully speed all this up. Are the machines now able to output their full capacity? Yes. Looks like it. Alright, that's good. So the machines are outputting at full capacity. Now the only thing that I want to do is so if the machines are outputting at full capacity, but the pipes, but it's still exact, I think we pause the first row of machines. So this should add a good solid amount of excess production in, which will make all of this fill up much quicker. Alright. So those are all standby. So now we're producing more rocket fuel from this pipe than we are using, and it should all fill up pretty easily now. Although it actually happens that production seems to have crashed completely for no apparent reason. So when we had the valves in, all the machines were operating at like 95%. Now that we've taken the valves out, half of the machines aren't operating at all. Seems like a bit of an issue. Alright, but let's see. Check on the pipes once more. We have 354 coming in there, and absolute nothingness going in there, apparently. I guess it's just fluctuating like crazy. I wish valves functioned so that I could set them up. I'm gonna have to look at the plumbing manual to figure out how to use valves to properly split a pipe intersection, because there is a way. I just don't know what it is. Now, if we go down here, are these machines operating at 100%? There might actually be a nitrogen gas shortage, which I didn't expect to be an issue. Okay, that one is fine on nitrogen gas. Yeah, is there a nitrogen gas shortage? It's hard to tell. Oh, so these are relying on valves. Alright, so let's disable these valves as well, since they're clearly not functioning correctly. And we might have to go further back in the chain to fix some valves, although those problems won't surface until we're nearly done with the entire thing because of how many, because of how we have like 4 times the production for those things, because it's all mixed in, I think. Alright, so those valves are all set now. Not going to have any shortages anymore. There's just going to be plenty of production. And these are all producing, and it is all going out into pipes. It is all going out into the pipes, which means there should be no possible way that this isn't working. And yet. And yet, here we are. So where is it all going? Is it all just going down this way, I guess? No, because that's limited to 300. That is limited to 200 plus however much. So I guess it's just all of it is going down that way, all the spare. Valves. Pipes. Pipes might be the worst part of Satisfactory. Like, they just don't make any sense. Ever. Alright, so set that up. And make sure that all of these are unvalved as well. And at this point, these valves are just functioning as, like, direction indicators, basically. Just preventing the fluid from going backwards, which is moderately useful to have anyways. Alright, so that is all in. We have 340 there, 307 there. Not sure those numbers add up to 600, but sure. And this is still very much not being reliable. If we fly all the way down to the end, we should encounter machines with plenty of rocket fuel. Alright, so the last ones there have rocket fuel. This one does not. So that is this row here. That row there is having issues, as is this one. So these two rows are having issues. These ones aren't. Nor are these ones. Those ones look like they're just about good. And these ones are having issues. Alright, well, not much I can do about that, aside from just simply waiting for the fluid to fill up. And I guess I can make sure that I didn't somehow leave any of these valves set. So the flow rate there is down to 80. And this whole pipe is not filling with rocket fuel at all. That's like suspiciously stable. So we have 156 splitting two ways into those two. We have 156 there. We have 307 there. But how is this working that way? It feels like the rocket fuel is just vanishing. Like, I'm objectively putting more in than is going out, and yet it is still just doing this. See, if valves worked the way that they said they did, this would all be very simple. My blueprint would just work, and none of these would have to backfill, and it would just set up very quickly. But instead, valves work the way that they shouldn't. And then here I imagine I'm going to see the same thing. Yes, we have 279 going in there. 150 some going that way. 140 some going this way. And that is not enough to fill either of those. So we just have to wait for this to completely saturate this entire pipe, which should be soon, right? Like, this should just fix itself, and then these two rows will start working once that is done. I really need to just look up the plumber's manual and figure that out. And then we're having similar problems over here. Although it looks like maybe it might have resolved quicker on that side for whatever reason. So what we can do here is, the option is available to us to load balance these, because this is like a 1-to-6 balancer on top of another 1-to-6 balancer, which is pretty easy. So, for example, if we just take this pipe and connect it off over to there, that would fix that. So this pipe goes along, and it goes in there. And then we don't need that connection. So now this is just a 1, 2... No, it's... Okay, so it's not that one, it's that one. So this intersection is now just a 1 to 3, right? We have our stuff coming in there, and then it goes out into 3 separate locations. So those should all be balanced. Then we have this, which we can just do the same. So this pipe comes across this way, goes into there, and doesn't go across there. So now all of these rows are getting equal amounts, assuming that these 2 input pipes are equal, which they probably aren't. Which I still don't understand how that's getting 383 and that's getting 317. And we're definitely not producing more than 600. So that is just going... All of these are going along at 100%. So, like, I don't know, it's probably fine. And then if we wanted to, we could balance again into these. So instead of just having this long pipe go down, we would have another 1 to 6 splitter, but that seems like even more extra work. And this should be getting it done, right? So if we head down this way to the last couple of machines, they are starting to fill up a little bit. They are starting to fill up a little bit. And one thing we can do is we can run another line along the back to balance them out even more. But I don't know if that's necessary. Really, I just want the valves to work. Like, that's all I need. I just need the valves to do the things that they say that they do, which is limit it to a value that you set them, as opposed to limiting it to a value lower than what you set them. Alright. So I think what I need to do is I just need to just end the stream here and figure out how valves work. Because there's something that I'm doing wrong in getting the valves to split evenly and use their full capacity. And if I can just figure out what that is, then we'll be golden and we can just use valves to distribute everything evenly and not have any issues. But if I can't figure out what it is, then we're just going to be stuck like this forever. either waiting for massive manifold that take ages to set up, or just not working at all. So I think we're going to end the stream here. It's a little bit early, but not hugely so. We did finish the floor, and it looks like everything is just about working now. So if we fly up, see a whole lot of green lights. At least casual inspection shows that the floor is working. And if we check power, it's pretty solid. It's definitely wobbly though, which means that casual inspection is failing, but that's fine. So, next stream, I'm going to come back and I'm going to know how to do this. I'm going to have learned the secrets of valves and how to use them to properly balance pipes, and then we will build the next couple floors up with that in mind. And so yeah, I guess that's about it. Thanks everyone for hanging out today. Got another couple streams ahead of us probably of this, so if you're interested in figuring out fluids, then you can stop by on Friday. Otherwise, I will be back streaming Factorio tomorrow, where we are working on making Tier 2 modules and Tier 3 assemblers and belts, so that is going to be exciting. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Make sure to follow if you haven't already. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time. It's always good to follow so that you know when I'm live. And